Chris Stevens worked with me in the State Department in the second Clinton term when I was the Assistant Secretary and he was the Iran desk officer. And I knew him then as a young Foreign Service officer, but what stood out about him was, first of all, his jolly disposition, his professionalism and his desire to be out on the front lines. He came to me, he wanted to learn Farsi so that he could be the first diplomat on the ground when and if we opened diplomatic relations with Iran. So it was natural that he would be the first diplomat on the ground in Libya, both when we opened diplomatic relations with the Gaddafi regime and then subsequently when we needed a liaison to the Libyan opposition. That was a dangerous job, and he didn't flinch from it. Then it was entirely appropriate that he would become ambassador there. I think it's important to contrast the mob demonstration and assault on the US Embassy in Cairo versus the attack on the consulate and subsequently on the safe house. The difference is that the Egyptian demonstration was basically a mob that assaulted the embassy, but the demonstration in Benghazi in Libya was people with machine guns and RPGs, and that's not the normal mob demonstration outside an embassy. This appears to have been a premeditated attack, and Obama administration officials are basically saying that there's evidence to suggest that now. The fact that you had both an attack on the consulate and then when the Americans were moved to this safe house, an attack on the safe house suggests that this was premeditation. And it also stands to reason because we know that Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb has been active across North Africa. In Morocco, they've launched attacks. There's been a presence in Libya. The Libyan government doesn't have effective control outside the main cities, and there's a lot of weapons sloshing around there. So it's entirely possible for a jihadist-style, Al-Qaeda-style attack, if it wasn't Al-Qaeda itself, to take place there. And of course it happened on 9/11, and the leadership of Al-Qaeda have called on attacks on Americans on 9/11. I think that President Morsi in Egypt, who is, of course, a Muslim Brotherhood leader, is walking a fine line, not wanting to be outflanked by harder-line Islamists, Salafists, and the like, and his own ideologues within his party. President Morsi is known to have advocated in the past what's called the truther theory. That is, that 9/11 was actually a plot perpetrated by the CIA and the Mossad to bring discredit on the Muslim people. And so I think that what you have here is an Egyptian government that is slow to condemn actions against not just the United States, but there's also been attacks on the Saudi embassy, on the Israeli embassy, and we see them not being prepared to stand up clearly against these things, and that's a bad sign. In the Libyan case, you see a very different response: outright condemnation and an apparent determination to find the perpetrators and bring them to justice, working with the United States to try to achieve that. So. And I think that's because they're heavily dependent on the United States. They appreciate what the United States has done to help overthrow the Gaddafi regime. And also I think there was personal relationships with Chris Stevens, because he was really there on the ground, shoulder to shoulder with them as they fought for their freedom.